Hello, my name is Daniel Min, and this is my PowerPoint about Carol's family Disney trip. So there's a total of five in this family, um, including Carol, her husband, and her three children. And so in the part one, they talk about she has two options, and we're going to talk about the cost of these two options. For option number one, for transportation, we're going to talk about driving, and then for option two, for transportation, she has the option to fly. We're going to talk about the prices for each of these. So this is all it's going to include. And then so for total miles from Columbus to Orlando on a round trip is going to be 1,898 miles on a round trip from Columbus, Ohio to Orlando, Florida. And then next slide, we're going to be talking about highway fuel efficiency of Carol's Toyota Highlander. So the answer we end up getting is 75.92 gallons because the Toyota Highlander gets 25 miles per gallon on the highway, which is pretty good. And you end up taking total miles of the trip and you divide it by miles per gallon, and that's how you get your answer. For the next slide, we talk about gas expenses. So we had to do some research in part one of the project, which I have my works cited at the very end of this and in my project. And so the answer for this we got was $166.26 for fuel cost. And we took 75.92 times 2.19, and we ended up getting 166.26. For depreciation, we in part one it told us to take the average of the cost of an SUV, which is 60.8 cents per mile. And so for depreciation, we had to take the total miles of a round trip and times that by 0.61. And the answer we got was 1,157.78 cents total dollar amount of depreciation cost. And so then we talk about the total cost of driving, of transportation, which is going to be a total of $1,324.04. And this is how we got that answer from the formula I show you right here. Option two is the option to fly. And we had to do some research for this one as well too, which we have posted, like I said, and works cited. So for the family of five and the airline that we had found, it's going to end up costing them $1,220. Then on top of that, you're going to have to add baggage. And so for two full pieces of luggage, the charge would be $190. So this would change the flight to be around $2,261 when you end up adding everyone's luggage and everything total together. So and once you get off the plane, you're going to have to rent a car. So you're going to have to rent a car that's going to be a 5-passenger seat. It's going to have to seat 5 people. And you're going to have to rent this car out for at least 3 days. So the total charge for the cheapest provider would be $103 for 3 days. So let me get to the basics. Let me say the total cost to fly is going to end up being around $2,364. So quite significantly bigger amount of money than it is to drive. So if you were to ask me, I would much prefer to drive than fly, just because of it's much cheaper, and also you could say, well, it's faster to fly. You get there quicker, but I would still much rather go the cheapest way. So in the next slide, we talk about cost not mentioned for driving. And so when we talk about like the meals you'd have to get on the way there, on average, on an average person, you'd spend $40 total on meals per person. on a day. So for 3-day vacation, this will raise the cost to about $800. And then cost not mentioned for flying, you talk about snacks you could get on the plane. This would range for kids from $3 to $5, and alcoholic beverages for adults for $6 to $8. So parents potentially could be $10, kids $5. This would increase prices to $670. So when you get there, you're gonna have to find a place to stay. So room and board, and you're gonna have to include 3 nights of this stay. So we had to do a little more research and find the cheapest place to stay online. So we found a place that would end up costing us $94 per night. So for 3 nights, this is gonna total out to be $248, $282, excuse me. And then on the next slide, we talk about budgeting for meals. So it's depending on if the hotel has breakfast or not, you're gonna have to raise the price for about another $10 per person. So if they don't have, because you're gonna have to buy the kids breakfast and whatnot in the morning. So ticket cost for Disney for 3 days. We found for ages 3 to 9, tickets are $351.37 per person, and ages 10, prices raise a little bit more to $365.43. So the total answer you're going to have to get after this is going to be $1,915.99. In slide 17, we talk about other costs that needed budgeted. So we talk about emergency funds, souvenirs the kids are going to buy, and just additional entertainment. So other things you're going to do that are going to cost money while you're there and buy and whatnot. So total cost, if you formulate all of this together, the estimated total cost is going to be around $4,740.03. And it shows you on this graph is a pretty good example. It shows you the fuel costs, that breaks it down in green. It'll show you all of these things actually. When we talk about savings, so because we're going to find a way like how she's going to need to budget these things. So we'll show you right here how much she's going to need to deposit each month for her trip at this rate. So we found a bank online called Ally, and the percentage is 0.65% yearly. So she's going to need to deposit $198.79 a month to reach her goal for 2 years. And so on the next slide, it shows you just an example of a graph. That's a visual representation of just the monthly balance from 1 to 24 months. On this next page, we have just a works cited page. Shows you all the work that I've used. And I just want to say thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed.